to excite a woman, to confuse her. This is incredibly effective when you want to take things a little further with her. In this video, I will explain why this works and tell you exactly how to do it, but be careful, I will show you how to do it right, without resorting to slightly toxic techniques. Let's get straight to the point. To excite a woman. What does that mean in general terms? If we look for synonyms, it's about puzzling her, throwing her off balance. In a global sense, the idea is to evoke strong and conflicting emotions in her. Why conflicting? Because it will make her question you, the two of you, and your future relationship. Let's agree, this technique should be applied right at the very beginning, that is, at the seduction stage. At the moment when you are both just sizing each other up, trying to figure out if you like each other, beating around the bush. It is precisely at this moment that you need to act. As you've already noticed, when it comes to strong and contradictory emotions, they can be both positive and negative, and here lies the problem. As you understand, very often people take the easy way out and choose rather negative techniques. That is, they make her doubt, pretend not to be interested, although this is not the case, and so on. All this is done to evoke in her the desire to get what she does not have. We all know this chatter. My position on this is well known, and moreover, it is confirmed by neurobiology. It is simply not viable. It may work in the moment, but it remains toxic as it operates through the lever of fear. And as soon as the fear disappears, so does the attraction. So it's useless. On the other hand, and this is very interesting, you can do this in an absolutely positive way. You can excite her by simply showing that you might not be who she thought you were, that you are better than you seemed at first glance. In short, it's very easy to confuse a woman if you simply surprise her. Why is it so effective to confuse her? There is a scientific basis behind this, the mechanisms of which are applicable to many other areas, so understanding such principles is very useful. In our case, exciting a woman is beneficial because at the very beginning of a relationship, you make her experience internal tension. A lot starts to happen inside her, and the brain is wired such that when such an internal whirlwind arises, it understands this needs attention. And the more attention the brain pays to this something, in this case, you, forgive me for calling you something, the more it will tend to consider it interesting, and the stronger her attraction to you will be. It's all very simple. This might seem like a rather artificial technique, but in reality we encounter it all the time, even without doing it intentionally. So don't blame yourself too much or feel guilty. What I mean is, as soon as you've done something that makes a woman think at some point, oh, there's something to this, that alone is enough to spark her interest and desire to get to know you better. Ultimately, she might even mistake it for attraction or develop genuine attraction. So don't worry. And here's the moment you've all been waiting for. How do you do it? How do you excite a woman without resorting to toxic tactics? I will now explain 5 techniques in detail. So if we want to excite a woman, today we will aim to do it in a positive way. How will we do it? We will stand out and surprise her. Firstly, don't hesitate to use what could be called anti-phrases or even cold humor. In other words, say something completely out of context, something you don't actually mean at all. This will throw her off balance significantly, as she won't expect it at all. She'll experience emotional swings. Her mood will plummet. She'll think, damn, I said something that angered him. Or shit, I said too much. In short, she'll feel awkward. And then, of course, you immediately diffuse the situation. This is precisely why it's a seesaw. She was on a high, then suddenly dropped. You smooth things over, and she rises again. Phew, everything's fine. I didn't say anything superfluous. I didn't ruin anything. And so on. So bet on these kinds of techniques. They both surprise and amuse. It's the perfect way to evoke that very excitement. Yes, it sounds strange, but it's positive excitement. Secondly, know that thoughtfulness, attention to detail, and the ability to anticipate a woman's small needs can excite her very much. Why? Because she will be incredibly touched and delighted by your attention. Most women believe that in the past, All their exes were complete jerks who only thought about themselves. Therefore, when you appear, of course you don't do anything that would compromise your dignity. You simply notice some small thing, and she will appreciate it. For example, you are sitting on a veranda, the wind is blowing, and you notice that she might be cold. If you yourself are not cold, and you have a scarf, you don't wrap yourself in it, but offer it to her. Or even silently, without asking anything, just throw it over her shoulders, or offer to switch places. Here's another story I was told. You're walking down the street and suddenly, as if it were nothing, you walk around her and stand on the side of the road to protect her from the big scary cars. At the same time, of course, a light touch on the shoulder or mid-back is allowed. It doesn't matter. In short, you present yourself as a protector and it works just great. Just one tiny gesture and she'll think, "Oh my God, this is the one. How wonderful. He's so sweet. He's so different from all those oafs I knew before." Consider it a done deal. Attention, I want to clarify something. In the examples I provided, and these are real-life stories that were told to me, and sometimes from my personal experience, the point is not to offer and ask, "Are you cold? Are you hungry? Do you need anything?" The point is to act, to take the initiative. This is precisely what delights women and greatly excites them, the realization that you noticed everything, took action, and didn't ask anyone for anything. You took that courage. This is top-notch, and it truly throws her off balance. The third thing that's very, very easy to do to excite a woman is to emphasize how much you are alike. Exaggerating for the sake of understanding the essence, you need to make her think, and you yourself could also believe, that, my God, you are absolutely the same. You are made for each other. The universe decided to bring you together. You are two halves of a whole, and all that sort of thing. Okay, I got a little sidetracked, but you get the idea. So play. Another trick that works wonderfully is to say the end of her sentence at the same time as she does. It's incredibly simple. You just need to be attentive. After talking with a person for half an hour or an hour, you start to pick up on their speech patterns and intonations. It's actually very easy to predict what the last words of her sentence will be. Even if it's just a couple of final words, it's no big deal. Just say them at the same time as she does and add, "Yes, yes, I completely agree," when she expresses her opinion. It works flawlessly. She'll look at you with wide eyes and think, "My God, we're the same. He thinks the same way. He's read my mind." This will definitely excite her. I guarantee it. I've received a lot of confirmation of this. The fourth, however, on a body language level, you are present, you are attentive, you convey attraction, you are bold and proactive. It is this contrast that will be incredibly interesting. I want to clarify an important point. This is not about duplicity or contradictions in your behavior. It's more about a lack of information. A certain mystery is created when, on the one hand, she doesn't know everything about you, and on the other hand, your actions are absolutely unambiguous and leave no doubt about your interest. This is precisely what breeds doubt and anxiety in her. She will think, "God, he's acting like this, but he's not saying anything out loud. It's impossible to understand anything from his words. What should I believe? How should I interpret all this?" And this is exactly where it will work. It won't be easy for her, and you'll notice how she starts to provoke you, trying to catch you out with sharp remarks and cunning questions. Fifth, be careful. This is a risky step. Therefore, for it you will need, firstly, a comfortable environment, and secondly, clear signs of interest from her side. You must feel confident. Why is it risky? Because here you need to dare to verbalize sexualization. That is, to say something direct and bold, just to see her reaction, to surprise her, and to test her at the same time. You can say something like that, or go even further with your words. Precisely with words, that's important. The main goal is to slightly shock her with what you say, but not to back it up with action. Otherwise, it will look too aggressive. You can't say, "I wonder what your lips taste like," and immediately reach for a kiss. No, that won't do. We need a bold phrase and behavior that doesn't follow it. All this is to see her face, confuse her, and trigger vivid visual images in her head. As you can see, this is the complete opposite of what I was talking about in the previous point. The essence is precisely in this sharp contrast. But I repeat, caution is needed here. You must clearly understand who is in front of you and be good at reading people. We've dealt with this. I hope this information was useful to you and clarified many points. Feel free to add to my thoughts and ask questions if you have any remaining. It was a pleasure discussing this topic with you. See you soon.